This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We infuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Hello and welcome, dear viewer and listener. Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe here, your host. We're trudging along. It's been around for 4.5 years now with this program, Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast, and thank you so much for the privilege of just viewing. If I could just ask you to strike that notification bell and that subscribe button, and a shameless plug as always, the book Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom has led to Mogobe Nuggets of Grit. So Nuggets of Grit, please go ahead and take steps to get yourself a copy. Just a phone call to our offices here, 397-1368, and then you get in touch with my PA and arrangements can be made from there. Let me welcome my guest, an entrepreneur of note. I've known her now for about 6 or 7 years, and she's always been an active social entrepreneur, if not a social butterfly. Welcome to the studio, Basadi.
Thank you.
Masimolole, it's such a privilege and honor. Would you care to introduce yourself and share a little bit of your background in terms of academics and your vocation and so on?
Okay. Kenna Basadi Masimolole, most call me Bash. Papa Madinare, Mama is from Mahalape. My 0 to 6 years old, ke godile ko Mahalape, mostly with Mama's family, my uncles and my aunts. And the reason why 0 to 6 ke godile ko Mahalape is because Papa worked for Land Board and Council, which meant my family moved around most of their lives. So my siblings had to change schools, and Mama didn't want that for me. She wanted stability for me as the last one. So 0 to 6, I grew up with Nkuku, Bomemogolo. Actually, I refer to Bomemogolo as Bonkuku because they're the ones actually who raised me. So then I came to Gaborone, standard 1 to 3 kids in Lerumo Primary School, and then Westwood Primary opened. I went to, actually, I am on the cover, Lerumo Primary. Standard 1 has Lerumo 10 at 21. 1986. I am on the cover, clock. So I've always been a star since I was young. And then I went to Westwood Primary, next door, when Westwood started. And then from Westwood, I went to Zimbabwe. Influence, peer pressure, Waterford, Kamhlanga. I actually went for the interview because I'd say. And I must say it's a blessing in disguise that I ended up in Zimbabwe. The reason I don't wear earrings since I was 13, Papa is Anglican, Mama is Roma, but I went to Seventh Adventist school because it was a good school. It is still a good school, Anderson High School. Then I'm somebody who studies a lot. I'm somebody who reads a lot. So in I was 17, 18 years ago, and I always say to people always say, I'm brave, I'm this. And I say, I was born with this intuition. I've always been born with this thing, it'll be okay. So because Zimbabwe A-levels were 2 years, I chose to drop out of A-levels a term on second year, because I could tell, like most of our parents, we tell how for the future when they retire. And I could see Papa was struggling. So I didn't tell anybody, I didn't tell my parents when I'm dropping out of school. And this is a term, 18 years old. This is a term to finish. And something in me said it's gonna be okay. So then my grandma passed on. Like I said, I was very close to her. I remember the internet and all that, telegram. So when telegram my grandmother passed on, I decided my plan was A-level, which means I get the O-level. I'll simply go to Horomente. I'll go to the National Service. Now, got the TS with the last group at TS. I then decided get like TS, then I'll go and apply for scholarship. And I'm doing this on my own because I'm like a scholarship, and I remember I got South Africa, and Basadi Barona have wisdom.
No, they have.
A lot of wisdom. I had so many responses. My response to AUCT came the day came and like South Africa. And I remember Papa and Tarwana who went to Joburg about Basadi. And Papa made sense. Who went to Joburg at Basadi. As in Bahotameka. I remember our year, we were only 5 that finished in time. Freedom, but anyway, I quit A levels. Second year. So go South Africa because they do metric and we do Cambridge. We have to do a bridging course, which now I chose A level 1 year. And one of the things I must say I'm proud of, I was the best. You can even Google it. Year 2000, I'm the best Cambridge student the whole of Midrand University. For me, it was to make up quitting. Because who wants to feel like a failure. My parents were hurt. They felt not hurt when I quit, but they were hurt that to them I'd failed them. That's me. Then I did one of my A levels, then first degree marketing. My postgrad is financial management. Now I'm doing consumer behavior psychology.
Okay, where were you doing those?
Go Midrand by doing UNISA. Go Midrand. You had a choice to do a course you wanted. The reason somebody may say, why do you have marketing, finance, now consumer behavior psychology? I've always known I was going to be different. I've always known I wanted competitive advantage over my peers.
Yeah. Okay. So then, at the end of the day, what title do you give yourself?
I've worked a lot. I'm a very intentional person. I've worked a lot on my positioning, especially more and more every year. Last year, I decided to pause. I'm somebody who writes a lot, reads a lot, meditates a lot. I decided I was not going to let the world tell me who I am. I'm going to tell the world who I am. So my positioning now is impactful marketer, solutionist, and reviewer.
Okay.
Yes.
There was a time when you were reviewing even restaurants.
Yes.
Tell us about that part of your background.
I must be honest, I didn't even think people were following. Anybody who knows my parents, especially Papa, I'm so Papa in a lot of ways. Hence, I'm from a family that is so family orientated. I remember as young as 9, I attended UB40 Stadium, and can I cell phone? You knew ka 5 else you be grounded. So now I'm somebody who's outgoing. Somebody I go to 0-star, 5-star. I'm somebody who creates my own life. 50 pula. So. Yeah, I'm somebody who's a sharer, and I didn't realize people were following
on social media.
Yes, I didn't realize people were following, and one leg of my brand that I'm about to roll out is actually called Lunch At. Lunch At being connecting through conversations that matter. So I've actually chosen to do in conversations. Lunch Chat for me, in conversations with entities, and then I've chosen to profile 4 areas, being hospitality, travel, tourism, and trade. The reason I've added trade is, like I said, I'm very intentional in how I want to be perceived. So I don't want to just be known for a thing. I want people to also know I've got a brain.
Yeah. So then you used to just do reviews on Facebook, right?
Yes. I just used to do that. I didn't know people were following.
Yeah. Now, you have an entity called Connector. Tell us about the name itself and the inspiration behind it.
Yeah. So my company is called Bash Connector. Like I said, my nickname is Bash. So I've decided to use a name, if you follow your Kim Kardashian, the Kardashians actually have a spillover from that show. If we look at the sister, Kylie Jenner, I'm somebody who likes lipstick. Actually, my dream is one day to have a lipstick line, because the lipsticks that is on the lips are South Africa. Most of us, our lips are wide and our weather's dry. So the lipsticks that they're not ideal for us. But the reason I'm giving the Kardashians an example, the reason why Kylie Jenner is doing so well is because she's using her following. So
she's a billionaire.
Of course, she's a US dollar billionaire. So I decided, in the Botswana context, my ideal, I see myself as a global citizen. So I decided, okay, Bash, And then naturally, I've always been a fixer. So like I said, I'm somebody who's intentional. For many years, I researched. I'm not an impulsive person. I think I put thought in I think of what I'm doing. So when I lost my job with COVID, I was busy job hunting, and I had to be realistic. The world is lean and mean. I'm overqualified. Lean and mean. I had to be honest with myself. I'm competing with retrenchment, people are outsourcing. So when I was busy job hunting, friends of mine were like, "You're good at this. You're good at."
This is during the height of COVID.
Yes. March 2021. But we saw it coming. Now people ask me, pay, and I said, guys, when we literally were no work, no pay, we were lockdowning. Yes, so I had to learn to live. So anyway, as I was busy thinking, register a company, I was gonna call myself Bash the Fixer. But when I did my research, there's a negative connotation with the word fixer in some territories. To some, they see it as a pimp. So then one time, they do.
Of all things.
So one day, my friend, so I've got a lot of friends. I'm perceived as motwabata, but actually I'm very, I've got a few people around me. So one time, my friend, Penyo Warunamakwe, I was at the house with her mom. We refer to her mama as me. We're busy brainstorming. So then when I researched how people see the word fixer, I began synonyms, fixer, and connector happened to be one of them. So as we're brainstorming, May then said, to be different, how about you use a symbol to replace one of the words? So as a marketer, I thought, imagine printing the symbol, imagine what. So that's when I replaced the K, K. Hence, even when I keep to be remembered, that's why I keep saying the K instead of C is intentional. So that is how Besh Connector came about.
That's good.
Yes.
And essentially, what does it do? What is its principal objective? Or mandate?
Yes. I refer to Besh Connector as a marketing company with a twist. And the reason I say with a twist, the conventional marketing is your print, your radio. I chose to be, I've always been different, and I choose to be different. I've accepted that I'm different. So, COVID, we've lost jobs. We didn't just lose jobs, we lost lives. So I'm not saying brands hadidi recipe. I'm somebody who observes, I'm somebody who reads, I'm somebody who shares. So I decided people hear differently with COVID. But you're busy at a conference and you're thinking, hey, I'm a breadwinner. I'm thinking this. My tagline for Besh Connector is linking people, brands, and experiences. So I'm saying to brands, you have, Stanbic now just launched a prepaid card. How do people get to know the prepaid card? You need to teach them usage, right? So I'm saying to brands, I see what you're doing. Allow me to boost, amplify what you're already doing. So one of my legs that's doing really, really well is Rent-A-Marketer Manager. People think it's a new concept, Rent-A-Marketer Manager. It's not a new concept for me. I always say my superpower is my exposure. That is my superpower. Like I said, primary Botswana. I went to high school Zimbabwe, University of South Africa, and I did my gap years in Abergavenny, Wales, and the UK. So got my heart saying, this is way before COVID. 2003, 2004, I did through British Council, and people are not aware there's so many opportunities. So to a young person watching this, please look up the embassies in Botswana, tell them who you are, udirang, ask them what they're about. So when I was in
the UK, how you can collaborate.
Yes, collaborate. There's so much out there. So when I was in the UK, one of the things I'm grateful for, Zimbabwe, vocational training is big in Zimbabwe, right from primary. So when we were doing our O-levels, we had to choose between English literature and typing. I chose typing. So I actually very skilled at typing. I've got Pitman exams right to a high level.
Wow.
So go Zimbabwe, go UK.
Secretarial.
Yes, I've got on a go university nika type about the assignment about go to conference go South Africa go gala type. I was making money with that. Yeah. So go in the UK. You go to a center, let's say labor center. Then you type horomang udirang. So being permanent and pensionable is actually a taboo. You have multiple jobs. So my goal, my aspiration, I didn't know that I make people feel safe. Ke tshabile go dira clinical psychology because I feel it's too heavy. Hence, ke ikoketsa now postgrad ka consumer behavior psychology.
Say that slowly.
Consumer behavior psychology.
Consumer behavior psychology.
Yeah, yes, okay. That's what my second postgrad.
Yeah.
So my aim is to help people get healing without them feeling like there's something wrong with them. Because it's still a taboo maharona to go for therapy. And Goma had saying,
which is tragic, really.
Absolutely. Goma had saying therapy is not just sitting with the therapist, Diana. I didn't even know what I'm doing. My therapist told me it's called narrative therapy. What I'm doing, like I said, I'm a sharer, I'm this and this. I didn't realize I'm doing it. So rehola bonku kwa rena ke ba re bolela di story. So that is how wisdom was passed on. That is how knowledge was passed on. So my end goal is to have a podcast. I love podcast.
Thank you.
I would like my podcast to be called Connect Your Story Series because we all have stories. So right now people are like, why don't you start? I am about to start, but being from a TV background, I know exactly the quality I want. So that is why I started with what you call connector sessions. Kana when you come up with what looks supposedly different, people take a while to catch on. Happy we live in a society they're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of there's something wrong with them. So my connector sessions are totally different. Like I was showing yesterday, we're underneath a tree. Beautiful food, and we have storytellers. So
I saw that when you're prepping for the
yes,
show.
it's so like I said, because right now I don't have a funder, I don't have a partner. I find you. I just start. So then last year May.
Bootstrap.
Yes, I just gone. Last year after my one connector session, I then just said, I need to put food on the table. I cannot be living every month, patching. And then I just paused and I said, who's Bash? What is she good at? And something I can do in my sleep is marketing. Hence, I rolled out Renter Marketing Manager. Like I said, it's a concept I saw in the Renter Marketing Manager. Like I said, permanent and pensionable is a taboo. People literally work multiple jobs. I then said, with the world being lean and mean, I'm a solutionist. What is a problem? What is a challenge in society? And how can I fill that gap? So basically with my Renter Marketing Manager, I literally... It's where companies are still retrenching. Companies don't want full-time staff. Anymore. So that is where I come in. Last year I actually had to close my book in September. That's how overwhelmed I was. So literally small, medium, large companies take up my marketing solutions, or they take up my concepts. So
is it digital marketing?
No, I'm end to end.
Element of that.
I'm end to end. And what makes me different? I've been marketing manager for MultiChoice 2009 to 2017. People always think MultiChoice made me, and I'm like, no, Standard Chartered made me. I did my graduate training with Standard Chartered 2006 to 2009. We were reporting to Asians. Asian culture is totally different to us. I remember at that time, we thought we were being slaves. My last role was Standard Chartered, like literally you rotated, right, from being a teller, collections, everything. My last role was Standard Chartered, I was product development manager, deposit and debit cards. I had to come up with a product, write to the regulator, Bank of Botswana, do the UAT, user acceptance testing, train tellers, do PR, do marketing, monitor it financially. That's why I end up doing finance. Do market research, So people assume marketing in the now like a social media. No, marketing. As a marketer, you're a solutionist. As a marketer, is beyond creating demand. What sets me apart? Already I said I did marketing, I did finance, I'm doing consumer behavior psychology. My USP, my
unique selling proposition
is that I start all my projects ka go plota. One of the things I do to Standard Chartered ka go plota the process. So I start off by plotting the customer experience journey. That's what sets me apart as a marketer. Yeah,
that's quite a mouthful. But one of the things you mentioned in passing was that you have a TV background.
Yes.
You didn't tell us about that.
Yes. TV background meaning having worked on MultiChoice. I always say my boss then, Bilis Koran, I credit him a lot. He taught me a lot. Really, we see the satellite. He knows TV. He knows broadcasting. So one skill, one of the skills I use for multi-choice tata, did a process, decoder repair process. Without a decoder, you can't subscribe. Without a SIM card, you can buy airtime or data. Actually, multi-choice, the group, Africa are different. The
It's
group,
different, yes.
the group was pushing. Botswana is so different, and it's sad that most people are on credit. When you look at Namibia and South Africa, who do like a direct debit, the stop order. Botswana, coming from banking, Botswana who do like a direct debit because then is the credit thing go tlase ha ba apply di loan and overdraft.
They prefer to pay them.
They prefer to pay cash. When I joined MultiChoice, literally we're on zero on payment platforms. We call them convenience payment platforms. Orange Money was actually the first to go on DSTV. So when I say TV background, I was exposed to so much. Go MultiChoice, I chose not to just do marketing. I chose to learn how to TV better kayang. I chose to learn how content didira madiyang. So solid content brings followers. Followers bring paid subscription or advertising. When I say solid content, I'm not meaning clear picture. I mean a story that people can connect to. So, but Baba watch on DSTV, there's a channel, Moja or something like that. Okay, I remember Your Perfect Wedding, but Date My Family. The quality, TV, like us but people connect to that.
The message. Okay, behind the
yes,
not just the glamour. You know?
So somebody who
it's not about glitz and glamour.
yes, it's not about glitz and glamour. So most people wait until hey, production team can people connect to your story? That's it. Yes. So somebody I really look up to is Mo. Anybody who's watching, anybody who's interested in media, please look up Mo.
Who's Mo?
Mo is the media mogul of Africa. She's Nigerian.
Yeah.
People aspire to your Oprah and stuff. I don't aspire to an Oprah. I aspire to Mo. Mo, but about the moments with Mo. When I worked at Standard Chartered, the hub of Standard Chartered go Kenya. So we used to travel a lot. And I'll never forget Gilibile TV, and I watched a talk show called Moments with Mo. Mo started literally. It wasn't good quality.
Yeah.
As I speak, Mo has hotels. Mo has Baba Lebang Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
It's huge. Mo even took the franchise after the Desperate Housewives of Africa.
That's
so
how big
that's
but
how
he
big
started
it is.
from zero.
From zero. So those are the things that inspire
This
me.
is where I started.
Yes.
I talk about it in my book.
Awesome. So when I say I come from TV, your Big Brother Africa. But Babwana Big Brother Helamo TV, but they don't know the behind the scenes. From auditions to partnerships on the ground to therapists actually being at auditions to therapists babona to damage control hobona. So that's what I mean when I say no TV.
Wow. Obviously, nobody gets to where you are without significant challenges and even setbacks.
Yes.
I have in my life what I call cataclysmic events, about which I talk about in my presentations and my talks. So would you give us 2 or 3 of those major setbacks and challenges, and also how you dealt with them?
Okay. Like I said, my first life-changing moment when I dropped out of school, my second year, A-levels, I must say that that prepared me for the world. I always say to people, with COVID. COVID for me necessary. It was smooth sailing because I faced worse in life. I would say I faced worse, so things happen, I move right along. Things happen, I move right along. Years ago, I was married and then I went through divorce. I must say, going through my divorce, I then chose to embark on a journey of unlearning in order to relearn. When I went through, actually for me to take up psychology, I had to write a motivation. A lot of people have been pushing me to do clinical psychology, like I said, but I felt it's too heavy for me. So I remember I'm very good in writing, copy, but my editing can be improved on. So I remember reaching out to people who are editing my motivation. And people were changing my narrative. And I was like, no, don't change my narrative. Change my grammar by editing, sorry. And people felt I'd overshared. But I was like, there's a motivation to be admitted. And I remember the professor, Abuela Kokhonna, was like, oh my God, so heartfelt. That's how I got admitted into psychology. But I decided, one cousin of mine that I'm very close with said to me, Bash, please go through a journey I went through. Please go through a journey, whether you reconcile with your ex-husband or you move on. Please go through a journey of unlearning in order to relearn the bad from your background and socialization. Really, all aspects of life, not just marriage. It could be at work, it could be with friendship. I'm sure, hey, batho ba rile. But a tough question about how did I contribute to something? So with this journey, it's a journey I've been on 10 years. It's not a journey just from dating. It's all aspects of my life. In psychology, we say the 0 to 7 years sangwana are the most important. We learn from observing. A lot of what we do in life, they did what they knew or what they chose, right? So through this journey, I got to unlearn a lot. I got to unlearn behavior. For example, I'm very expressive, but I also didn't realize I couldn't be passive aggressive. I also didn't realize, yes, I didn't also understand from the partners that I chose, it is because what's have monona le madi, what's have monona le seriti. Kante batsadi ba rona bo mangwana rona, they don't realize they're instilling fear in us. So I learned a lot through
terrible advice.
No, it's not terrible. It's what they know. It's all they know.
Oh, okay.
Our culture teaches us to fear money. So I must say that journey prepared me to embrace people as they are, to embrace that we have different backgrounds and socializations. So even also it prepared me, even in choosing a partner, to understand batswakai. Batsadi ba rona ha ba re ke ngwana gamang o tswakai. Ya be so re ba jaja batho.
So I can see how the divorce would be a setback of sorts. Any other significant setbacks, and how do they shape you?
I actually don't see my divorce as a setback. I see it as something that propelled me to find Bash, to return to Bash.
Okay.
For me,
so it was, in a sense, a success.
Yes.
Or a blessing.
A blessing. Yes, a blessing in disguise. So for me, then 2021, Hakamata Pity Party, I always teach or share in retrospect. I went through so much 2021. I don't believe in Holoiwa. No. 2021, I went through so much. January, I was very close to my stepdad. He was in my life since I was 13, 14. And I always say to people will be like, would you get married again? I said yes, over and over. I've seen my mother move from first marriage, which was my father, which was abusive, to moving to a happy marriage until my stepdad passed on. But I'm the person that I am, and actually I'm very close with my dad, because Mama always taught us he may have been a bad husband to, he may have been a bad husband to me, but he's a good father. Baba is a father. And something that my stepdad, in June 2020, he was diagnosed with cancer, and it was a relate, and in 6 months about So he passed on January, then March. I've lost my savings May.
Oh no.
They depleted, and I was living the life, posh neighborhood, this. Downgrade. I usually accept. And my experience in Tutile this thing you
downgraded from that posh neighborhood to
move into my mom. And I long moved out of my mom, 14, high school. My stuff as I speak, my brother. And then June, I had a car accident that I can't even describe. That episode taught me how much accident.
It sounds like a series of disasters.
Yes, series of disasters. Something that my experience was, how much accident. Don't ask them what happened. Just say, are you okay? All these incidents had in Tirajala, actually, they shaped the kind of companies I'm speaking to. My pitches are from my stepdad alwala. My pitches are to your lens. My pitches are to medical aid. I'm thankful BoyMed gave me an opportunity last year. There's something that I'm doing with them that I started last year. Because I'm teaching people how izo ro tla lwala leng, o tla tlhokahala leng, go tla re leng. I'm actually just about to have talks with MVA because I saw a shocking ad and I reached out to the comms last year. The ad said people have accidents because they're reckless or batahilwe. And I said, in the now, we cannot be speaking like that. Mindset change. I can't even describe the accident that I had. All I can say, when I panicked, I had the accelerator instead of brake. So even when, because the car was insured, when the investigator came, I wanna me right. I said, no, this is legit. There was too much happening. Imagine lose stepdad, lose job, lose this. So in the now COVID.
So the accident came,
yeah. And I remember because I was like, oh my God, mama's car, this. I remember waking up. I've always been close to mama. I remember waking up and mama said to me, Wanaka, I just lost my husband. I was not about to lose a child. That turned around my life. Yeah.
And so you're important to other people.
Absolutely. I'm valued. And I remember even going through my divorce. So come my dinar I'm loved. I remember and when I went, Parakadi were happy to see me. Everybody was happy. There was not even a question or you would say. And I remember, in our setup, I remember Renali Pitoko Serule and I was driving back to Gaborone Papa. And I remember Papa sharing how his life just took a nosedive when he went through his divorce. To have a partner. And I remember Papa Ntari, he feels like he's a failure. He went through divorce. I went through divorce. But I remember Papa saying to me, Wanaka, yes, divorce is painful. But now I can't think, I don't want to imagine a day. Yeah, so those are examples. I'm loved. That's what keeps me going.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, you covered some of the successes and triumphs, but is there anything that you sticks out that is significant that you say is a big triumph, especially around Connector and the other one, Lunch
Chat?
Yeah, that you want to share?
When I started, like I said, I just live my life. I wake up, I can go into a basket, I live that life. When I started my Connector sessions, I didn't realize what an impact I'd make. I didn't realize people were following. The support I'm getting is amazing. I'm thankful. Media gives me coverage. Brands are starting to come on board. When something appears new and different, it takes a while, especially in our community. Our community, I'd say, is rigid, is very conservative. So now I'm very patient. I'm very resilient. My strategy also, which is a strategy I've used in my life, to anybody listening to this, don't give up. Keep pushing. So now instead of spreading myself, I select different brands. Brand association is very important to me. So I select different brands that I want to associate with. So like when I started my Connector session, I'm thankful for Brand Botswana. When I started my Connector session, they bought 6 tickets. So when companies buy tickets, I actually give them ideas on how they can use the tickets. So now I've traveled the world, and I'm sorry, now I got the perception that Africa almost said. I want Africa to be glam also. So everything I do, I always include Botswana, a portion of Botswana. So I then was having a Connector session on Africa Day where we were pairing African food with wine. People always assume wine is with cheese. No, you can actually pair wine ka mogodu, wine ka seswa, wine with jollof rice. You just have to be taught pinotage goes with this taste, this goes with taste. So anyway, Brand Botswana bought 6 tickets. And the dishes we're doing were Nigeria, Morocco. We selected 6 countries.
Nigeria, Morocco,
there was
Botswana.
Nigeria, Morocco, little 6 I forgot, but there was Botswana also. My brief to Brand Botswana was, let me help you, Kapusha BW. Let's have a competition around the tickets. But I want dijo tsa Setswana tsa di keneken. To show that that competition was intense.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
choose 6 winners was so tough. So I'm very it was. So I'm very thankful because even when you Google search me, Brand Botswana, I'm very thankful for the opportunity because Nikki it's more corporate. People still know me, but it's a different ball game how we bereka. So people will ask, there is a mang ing, and I can just show you. I just say Google Brand Botswana, and then also the one ekibonu in Tata. Like I said, my last year was hectic. I closed my booking in September. At one point, I had like 8 clients at a go.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, even right now, my year has just started on another level. I'm very thankful for the space I'm in.
Each client wants your undivided attention.
Absolutely, and every client is different. Last year, how different my clients are. I'm not sure if Botswana context or even beyond Botswana. More Botswana, polygamy is there, but people are not aware that polygamy is actually allowed legally. So one of my clients last year was Reskati, the gentleman with the polygamous family setup. His show was on YTV. So they were one of my clients. The PR, the marketing, the publicity, all that was me. I'm very grateful also. Last year I landed 10-star property, which is very big. Properties in Botswana, Dubai, Zambia. One of the properties that he's doing for 10-star Game City Mall. Last year Game City turned 21. So I landed them as a client. I'm very thankful for that. So the brief...
They have one in Palape,
yes,
Mall,
yes.
And now they're starting another one, as I understand it, in Goya Piri.
Yes. I'm very thankful. The brief I got was Game City 10 at 21, by Game City by Eliza Pageantry as a connector. And somebody may think, pageantry is shallow. But what people don't realize is the value chain of beauty. It's huge. And for somebody it was not just, and also that culture, Canada Muslims, they didn't want anything elitist. They wanted pageantry mo Botswana itona ya ka re gompieno re bona re fola our queen Lesego. It is a connector. Lesego Chombo. Connector, the word connector for me means unifier, a link. I've always been a connector. So last year, I'm thankful for this opportunity I got. So now when I got the brief, I guess people know me. 2018, I consulted for Miss Botswana.
There was a time when a day couldn't go by without you popping on somebody's screen. I think maybe you've reduced, but you don't post as much, but you post.
I do post. My account was hacked last year for a month. I am back on social media, but I'm intentional on my social media usage. I am on social media, but people actually, okay, let me not say people. More and more, I get the bank at KYC, know your customers. More and more, I'm realizing my audience. My audience is the decision maker. My audience is the CEO, the ambassador, the this, who don't engage on social media, who don't engage on Facebook.
They just watch.
They watch, but they react. So my audience reacts on WhatsApp. So they call me. So I just use social media for publicity, but not as much as I did because my audience is not there. So I am with 10-star. I didn't just do a pageant. I got to do stakeholder engagement. I got to engage with the media and all that.
Okay. The one thing I want to ask you as a I don't want to call you an influencer, but I want to call you a social media strategist as well as a social media personality. Is that I sense that you know quite a bit about brand positioning, and it's something you've thought a lot about. Where are we going wrong as entrepreneurs in Botswana in terms of brand positioning, and what should we be doing? What are the ideal things to think of as you position yourself in this space?
Okay. I'll use myself as testimony of brand positioning, and I hope people will relate to what I'm saying. A starting point, I always say to people, is self-awareness. What are you good at? What are you not good at? I always say to people, in being aware of yourself, it's also important to be aware of your environment. How you perceived. I'm not saying but how you perceived. And then you have to say, I'm aware of myself. This is how I'm perceived. How do I want to be perceived? There needs to be an alignment. And then you need to be intentional on working on it. So I'll use myself as an example. Because people would see me go to a restaurant thing, posting with a glass of wine, perception is different. There's a picture I like where there are two people standing opposite. Yo mongwe o bona is 6, yo mongwe o bona 9. So ha re bone dilo go tshwana.
Yeah.
So for example, some would see me go post like a wine. What would they say? Hana go hira holding wine. Yo mongwe, like I'm saying, I'm now doing brand association is very important to me. When I do my curations, those who distribute wine see me as a gem. So I'm very strategic. But like I said, Modi banking, we are KYC, now I always say know your audience. So the moment I realized who was following me, I started cleaning up my social media. Cleaning up meaning I post them, right? Because I don't want to be perceived that way. But when I'm holding what? Champagne maybe. Yeah, super. But also, now I'm multifaceted. Some people are multidimensional, sorry. Some people are one-dimensional. I'm very
faceted as well.
Multiple, yeah.
And dimensional.
I love my coffee. On the other extent, I also like my wine, good wine. So positioning is there's how can I target market you need to be intentional and be authentic. This is who I am. This is what I want to be known for. And in psychology, we say we shape behavior. We mold behavior. The same as we shape how we want to be perceived. So like I said, last year, I paused and I said, how do I want Bash to be perceived? A word that I like using is tatso. So hence I have what you call tatso connect sessions. Tatso, people usually use tatso helaka dijo. But that's okay.
I mean taste.
That's what is taste. So what I then decided was I want people to be curious about me. Probably that's one of the reasons why I reduced my social media. People need to know about us, but they don't have to know everything about us. Happy we should be selective on who knows what. So what I then decided, on social media, those who follow me, I like doing what you call marketing one-on-one with Bash. So that is me molding. So brand, Riza KFC agar, Riza Chicken Licken, Riza Nando's. If Nando's puts up ad, we know it's going to be witty, right? Riza Nando's, the brand they've created is being witty. If somebody puts, we know memes, like Hamotwaka, Kwala, Ikarke Nando's, Hotlebe, Rak, and Yorke Nando's, I get. So even Ole Moto, I always say to people, a brand or brand positioning is literally sharing your story, packaging your story, and saying, this is my story.
This is how I want to be seen.
Absolutely. So where people are missing it, usually harakanya brand, rakanya an entity, a business. But a brand starts ka wena ole motho. Remo go bike mang. A ke ro nyetseng, a ke ro na le bana, a ke ro tsa nang kereke. Di values tsa gagwe keng. The same as a company has a mission, vision. Where now, what is your mission? What's your vision? That is what brand position is. But I always say, actually, the other day I put it up on Facebook and said, brand position it's intentional. It's you saying, I am going to tell the story, and this story is going to be remembered. So people, I keep saying intentional. We need to be in the same ways we're intentional in CEO, so CEO, but like another master's, PhD. Brand positioning also as an individual is that. Yeah.
It's very interesting. Now, you mentioned in passing that COVID was a bit of a blessing. On a bigger scale, can you tell us your pre-COVID sort of mentality or approach and your post-COVID approach to business and also to connect and other endeavors?
Yeah. Pre-COVID, and I don't believe a lot of us were comfortable with life. You were comfortable, you were comfortable waking up and not traveling, you were comfortable this. Now I must say, life before multi-choice, I love travel. I love traveling intentionally, locally, intentionally. I used to do, I'm very futuristic in my thinking. Way before COVID, I had a company which I set up in 2007, it was a Piece of Africa. And I'm thankful, one person I'm always thankful for, Renkolo, way before he went to a UN, way before he was ambassador, na local foreign affairs. I'm not sure if people are aware, every year when I meeting all Botswana ambassadors, to the world. But nale meeting one, and I'll always be grateful for the opportunity Renkolo gave me. Way before COVID, I always believed when people are hosting wherever they are, they must host ka dilo tsa bone. So dilo tsa rona keng seswa serobe segwapa. I'm a very I'm a very fussy eater. So bogologolo when I was married, my ex-husband and I, we used to just take drives, just drive. So one time we were driving Kolobatse, and I'm very good in spotting the best places all over the world. I spotted this coffee shop Kolobatse. And then these Afrikaners, they were serving us some lean sohapa. And I asked them, Basadi Masimolole on the border, and this lady, but she just loved my energy. And she started I was not even making sohapa. They were packaging for me. So the opportunity Renkolo gave me was to, when all the ambassadors were there, what I then did is I packaged this plain one and the chili one, and I big packages, and I gave them, and then I did a bookmark. So I wrote, use this when you're reading, and then I wrote my contacts. I'll never forget Rentoaga. He passed on, I think, last year. When he was at UN, ambassador of Botswana UN, the year Obama became president, 2008. They actually wanted my Sohapa to host with, but unfortunately, one of the things I learned, Brand Botswana, BIT since Bedia. Bedia used to help me a lot. So that was life way before multi-choice, right? And then I just got comfortable. That's life before COVID. I just became comfortable. And then also,
you didn't have a clear purpose?
I did have purpose, but I was just comfortable. And then, like I said, on social media, I'd post. I took for granted who I am and my power. I took for granted who I am, basically. And another person I always credit very hard. When I had a life, my life also took a nosedive in 2017. I remember very hard when I was going through what I was going through, said to me, "Thank you, Mudimo, that you're going through this terrible thing. You needed to know who Bash is." Yeah, that is 2017. Then COVID comes. The reason why I say I've gone through a lot in life, like all of us have stories. Now I hang out with different people, older, younger, successful, more successful, less successful. I learned through everybody. So before COVID happens, when the lockdown, no gathering, no movement. Somebody I look up to, somebody whom I see as a sister friend, is Neo Lele Bohatsu. She's somebody who pushes me. So then COVID, who's job hunting. Actually, I even became depressed. Imagine you start doubting yourself. You can't find an 8 to 5. So before I allowed the first champagne picnic after COVID, 2021, it been like December. So like I said, I like serving. How it's in Zimbabwe, you'll know Zimbabweans, and also Halamo Sabata, how just a like we wash feet. So I long learned serving and I love it. So as I was busy serving, then she was at Biffin before I was on life. She was looking at me and she was like, "You know, you're natural at this. Stop looking for a job. Do this. This is who you are."
Wow.
The reason I say, and
it was a moment of clarity.
Absolutely. Before I even registered my company, 2022 March, she said to me, "Wizi Billy was your boss for multi-choice. Billy now runs Rodizo. Why don't you approach Billy, who December?" And she said to me, "Be a beneficiary of spend. Festive season, people are spending. Be a beneficiary of spend." So immediately I went to Lengao. I said, "Let me help you push one of your brands." And they were like, "Wow, people always come for freebies. You wanna?" So you believe like preparing for the pitch, but when I didn't even realize. Buying kids, they were like, and then, oh my God, I'm thankful Pamlet came on board, with the chef, with other corporates. Raymond Nakotla was, and I was selling a ticket bold enough, 1,000. He bought 6 tickets, even the wife. There's no honorable. Hey, she'll send me 600. Yeah. So COVID, I'm thankful. besides, like I said, losing lives and jobs. COVID, I keep saying I went on a journey of returning to Bash. That's what COVID did to me.
Okay, this is wonderful. Yeah. Now, let's talk about the upcoming connector sessions.
Yeah.
When are they and what are they about?
Okay. So, like I said, hake simola ne get a connector session hela. And then I said to myself, anybody can have a connector session. One thing I must say that I'm very good at brand positioning. I'm very intentional in what I do.
Yes.
Hake simola, I kept saying K instead of C is intentional, K instead of C is intentional. And I was making sure it was important that Bash connector. K. I remember that one brand, it was Bomid, payment, so I could send the finance gentleman on Tarek, what's your company? And then I said Bash connector. About so I worked very hard that I'm remembered. So the way I do things, so when I started Nikki said connector session hella, and then I was like, I want these connector sessions to be different, to be remembered. Hence, because I keep using the word Tato, then I said Tato Connect sessions. My next, my Tato Connect session 8 in March. I don't know if people are aware that March is Women's Month. So this connector session I was going to do last year, October, November. I then decided to postpone it to March. The only reason
coincide with the
Women's Month. The reason why I'd wanted to do it, the reason why it was supposed to be October, I guess it's an annual thing. So the one that I said was very impactful was October, and also October is my birthday month. So I always make sure I do what's impactful October. So Women's Month is March. Women's Day is the 8th of March. I've decided to not do it on Women's Day because there'll be too many events happening. I've decided to do it. 29, then Mogobe it's Easter 29. So I'm doing the Gaborone edition 23 March. And then I've got a lot of friends who work Kobo Deptswana, Kobo Lukara, Kobo Letlhakane. Ebe ba nthabare kana re tshwana le lona hela ko Gaborone. That's when I decided I'm going to do engwe. So 16 March I'm doing Letlhakane. 23 March I'm doing Gaborone. So my connector sessions always have a connecting theme. So the connecting theme I've chosen is imposter syndrome with women executives and coping mechanism to deal with self-doubt. One of my storytellers,
well, people don't even know connector sessions involve storytellers.
Yes.
Maybe you should hint on that a bit.
So, like I said, I'm trying to revive the storytelling. I actually have been on BTV too many times. I've said to them, I've even been on BTV dating news. I remember. Hey, there was a time I was on BTV like in a space of 2 months, 6 times. It was just too much. But I didn't realize how impactful I was.
By those appearances.
No, my connector sessions. I didn't realize how they touch society.
Yes.
Even when I get opportunities, everywhere people call in and say, hey, can I list story? But I don't just choose everybody for storytelling. My therapist encouraged me to choose people who've started a journey of healing. My connector sessions are not about pity parties. They're about stories of overcoming whatever you've overcome. Connecting angle. So before Rahu Simola, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. For like a whole month, you're taught, I coach you, a connecting angle.
If you're a storyteller.
To be a storyteller, to tell your story in a way that you connect with the audience. So also to feel safe. Yeah. So anyway, the next connector session, the reason I chose imposter syndrome with women executives, March is Women's Month.
Yeah.
And really bomme, ganzi,
some people may not know what imposter syndrome is.
Imposter syndrome is self-sabotage, self-doubt. At any given point in our lives, we do get to doubt ourselves. Like I'm saying, it took COVID to go back to bashes. There were moments of doubt, time and again. So the reason why I've chosen the storytelling theme is because why is it that a man is not afraid to ask for salary increase or to say now but I'm going for 100 pula? I'll never forget my last role before COVID. I'm thankful to have worked for a company in a partnership.
It's not entirely true that men are fearless. You know that.
It's not that men are not.
I've interviewed enough to know that they also sometimes they feel the fear, but they do it anyway.
There isn't somebody who doesn't have fear. We all have fear. I'm not saying men are not fearless. My point is
fearless. You're not saying men are fearless.
I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying ban habataibi. All I'm saying is really me. I do have connector sessions also for men. But I've realized our men feel like I leave them out. But also when I have connector sessions for men, they don't come. You know, so I don't know. I don't know, but
maybe you haven't marketed to them.
I do. They see it. They do reach out. But anyway, that time will come. So the reason I'm great for imposter syndrome for women executives is for us. Is for the so it's going to be a Tato Connect leading women branch. So then I'm going to select different storytellers. I usually send out and ask who do you look up to. Believe me, I reach out to even 60 people. But to come out and be brave and tell a story is not easy. But with this session is for women.
Have to open up and be vulnerable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also we live in a society.
That's what I discovered when I wrote my book. It takes a lot deep, yeah.
You do. So with this March 16, 23rd, Gaborone, I haven't chosen my venues yet, but I'm in talks with different people. I do my venues are not in conferences. My venue are very unconventional. It's a space where it's a healing space.
It's like farms, bushes. I've seen some pictures.
Yes, underneath a tree.
Yeah.
So the reason I chose this topic is that there was one storyteller on imposter syndrome and people were crying. People cry. People get triggered and then obviously it's not crying the whole day. It's just to help people heal and encourage them to go for coaching, for mentoring and all that.
What does one have to do to be part of these sessions?
You buy a ticket. You buy a ticket. I'm selling a ticket for 1,000. Some people may say it closes out to other people. And my response is always, I'm self-funded. My curations are high value and low volume. Meaning, so my target market, with a partner, a financial partner, a price will go down. But I don't have a financial partner. But also my offerings are aspirational. My offerings are very small. When I say small, I don't do hundreds. I do 35. Wow. And I'm very thankful. I don't want to lie. I'm very thankful. Last year, I had a storyteller, Atoko Orange. She's head of legal and compliance. And then by Orange, our staff needs this. So I'm now having brands saying, please curate connector sessions for us, for our employees, specifically for them.
Does it mean you bring therapists and counselors along, or how does it work in practical terms?
There's always a therapist there. Ooh, the first one I did, Mogobane, people got triggered. People started crying. And my therapist was going to be one of my storytellers. And she just looked at me and she said, do you mind if I help? So when she was supposed to do her part, she just took a chair, and literally about a group therapy. But I saw people nodding their heads. So in practical terms, I choose storytellers. Molumo has a connecting angle, right? So with the session, it's a beautiful day. Like the last one, Auntie Zompi's tea room, she taught people tea etiquette. I had Benju come on board, Grainberg being our partner. Nice setup, welcome drinks. God is beautiful. You dress up. And then you have a story. I give somebody short time and people get shocked. I do it in a way that just that's of who you are. And then you
short time as in 10-15 minutes.
Yes, to tell your story. And in the brief I tell you we don't do pity. But people always ask for permission. Can I share this? And I say it's okay. Because trust me, my connector sessions ki di branche, I've been very deliberate on that. It means security, It means ha gongwe batho ha ba reetse because we're intoxicated. We listen differently when we're intoxicated.
Yeah,
Ke sa reetse some borjalo bo rileng. The reason why I do my branches in 11 to 3, ke a tlhaloganya gore on weekends people also have other commitments. But this is what's interesting with my connector sessions. People end up leaving busiku. They become, they connect. They connect naturally afterwards. So the 11 to 3, a ticket, I'm deliberate on making my ticket 1,000 because I'm self-funded.
You've said that. I fully understand.
Yeah.
The buzz right now is the mindset change, attitude change everywhere. It's been going on now for 2-3 years. What is your view on that? Are mindset changing? Is it something that's desirable? What's your experience?
Mindset change. Keep work a human being. We're creatures of habit. We're creatures. People would rather do what they know than what they don't know. And I always say we only can change what we acknowledge. So I know tell about in a certain way and you don't acknowledge. Absolutely. So mindset, I always say behavioral change doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while. I like working with young people because young people learn faster, and I believe when you're younger it's easier to change. But mindset change also starts from within. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. As a basic.
Maybe you can explain briefly to the
Maslow was a therapist, actually, psychologist, and he talks about the different needs we have, starting with shelter, and we tell about self-actualization. So, Kirata Mono, our president right now, mindset change. Mindset change is something that happens in different aspects of life. But I always say also, it depends on what's happening at that time. But mindset change is very, very important in different aspects of our lives. So again, I always use myself as an example. With COVID, you don't have a job. So a mindset change, I always say to people, the world is lean and mean. Let's accept that. The world is still going to retrench. Let's accept that. So as opposed to waiting on an 8 to 5, how can you create income? So Facebook, I get. So if you're always on Facebook, it means then you have data. How about you have a mindset change? But mindset change is not something that happens overnight. It's a process. Behavioral change is a process. Yeah.
And do you think so far in the 2-3 years we've been talking about this, the loudest since our president urged us to change? As Botswana, are we starting to change or are we changing?
What I would have loved to have seen with the mindset change campaign, I always say to people, start with a why. What is your why for starting anything? So
well, in his speech he mentioned for the longest time we had low self-esteem and we're not realizing our full potential as a nation. In fact, he talked about 30 years of virtual stagnation. I can't remember the words he used. And there was need to, as it were, inject that mindset change for us to be to realize our full potential as a nation and to get where we want as a high income country.
I'm not doubting that we will. People remember repetition, but also people hear when they want to when they're ready to hear. I will applaud HE and his team. Everybody in that small little corner watching.
Wow, that's a good answer. Politically correct. Who are your heroes or your shiros? Who do you look up to? Who would you say, I want to be like that person? Or where do you draw your inspiration from in terms of heroes and shiros, as I put it?
Okay. I'm going to start with Self. I'm going to thank Self. There's a speech, Snoop Dogg, the musician, where he actually accepting a Grammy, and he said, I want to thank Self for all the late nights. So I start with Self. I'm somebody who my inspiration comes from within. That's who I am. But I'm thankful for Basadi Masimolole, I must say that's my privilege. Ha ke bue madi, ha ke re privilege, ha ke bue madi. I'm from a family e leng gore kwa lapeng re 4, but we were taught you're all different. Me le ska lebala gore kwa lapeng re dira yana. Ko le ska gore tlhabisa ditlhong re ntse yana. So my parents are my biggest inspiration. Ke leba ka gore ka dithutego ga ba rutega ka rona, but the sacrifices they made from West to Zimbabwe. Even my siblings private school, private school. So my parents were very intentional in giving us what they didn't get. So my parents are, I mean, my dad, I always tell people, my stepdad was the same, because but differently. Papa, when I worked at Standard Charter, when I worked at MultiChoice, would be like, why are you also go Dubai, go head office? He always reminded me of my greatness. So I look up to my parents. I look up to because I look up to my uncle. A lot of people Pita Mulusi. Pita Mulusi ke mogole ya mama.
Yeah.
I look up.
Secretary
yes,
at some point.
Education.
Mama,
when I started.
So you're related to Boniface?
Yes, those are my first cousins. Mama
Bones was a big friend of mine after high school.
Okay.
When we were young professionals.
Oh, nice. When I when I started, not like I said, I've always been a different child. When I started my company, Mama Papa would call, like last year when I was US Business Summit, Papa would call and say, Mama, I'm going to consult for them. So Harry, my inspiration, like I said, Mama, Papa, my stepdad. By the way, Mama ke Mama Zete, my stepdad Nilwana Katie Muzete, Nation Anthem guy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm happy to be surrounded by such richness. Yeah. Because even when Mama San Talochai, my stepdad used to say, but she's a trailblazer. Yeah. I look up to Bome Mokolo. I look up like Akibwile, my uncle Repita Mulusi. So even recently, Mama now that Usmala Hobona Kidirang, I agree media young cover. Yeah. Even so I'm born on TV.
Beginning to appreciate.
Yes, and she came for my one connector session last year. No, hore ya mohobane so bateba molala no hole batho ba le like triggered. Then Mama says to me, "I ke bona ke dira sentle hore batho ba lele." Because Mama, but that's therapy.
That's how they heal. Yeah.
So then when she came for my May connector session, so the following day I was exhausted. Like I get so exhausted after absorbing all the stories. So I eavesdrop on her phone. She was like, "I wanna go to Sabatoyana." So my lover, she said to me, meaning consulting for people.
Oh,
hey, so okay. So now we are very creative. Mulusi family is very creative.
Well, I know one who's a playwright and an actor.
That's my cousin, Donald Mulusi.
Cinema.
Yeah. Our grandfathers are brothers.
Yeah, I've actually interviewed him before.
Yes.
So you guys, you kick butt, eh?
So that is my inspiration.
Get this done.
My inspiration is Okwalaping. My sister, Kwalaping Refo. My brother's 9 years older, then 7 years older, 5 years older than Na. I always say, my sister in Canada, she always says to me, I inspire her. And I say to her, she inspires me. My sister, boy, Mama also boy. But I always say to people, if my sister can up and leave at 39 years old to a different continent.
Start a new life.
My sister didn't even have a degree. She started her degree in Canada. She didn't have a house. She didn't have this.
What's she doing now?
She's working. She has a life. She started her life in Canada, restarted her life. So my inspiration comes from within and from my family, from Bemimeholo, because so for example, I like fancy things. I like nice life things. That's an inspiration from Memeholo. Nkukuma Tiamo, I saw her manager Kotati Hotel ko Francistown. I've seen her fearlessly and yes. My ivory bracelets are from her. Wow. She actually has kept for me antique furniture. 2021-22 people saw me post a lot. I was fighting for her plot when I was given
through the internet.
No, going to Pandamating. I was sharing my journey.
Oh, okay.
Hey, when Kihua Tomuenaka 2021, I thought, why me? And Kina quite covered. Balen board actually, but it was the first time a virtual meeting, certain meeting, was done virtually. Kinekata pe mitika mahalape, Memokolo is 84. Ahoreta, Kuridra meeting. Ilokore. And she was observing me, and
Was it connected on Facebook or something?
No. We were using listed our webinar platform.
Oh yeah, to address whatever issue was.
Yeah, so
you set it all up.
Yeah, so when we were having this talk, you're so calm. In adversity, I'm very calm. She was like, and be emotional. But they don't realize, I guess our parents, we don't affirm them enough, and they don't realize how great they are. But I say who I am is from my parents, is from my siblings. So that's my inspiration.
Wow, I love that. It's really family. People often want me to ask the money question. In this space you are in, potentially how lucrative is it? And potentially what are we looking at? Is it something that a youngster can have as a career and work around, in your view? Is there money to be made in your space?
To any young person, or make it any creative. Creatives, we're passionate in what we do, but passion doesn't put food on the table. Yeah. When I started Bash Connector, I started because income had to be made. Like I said, I'm a healer, I'm a nurturer, I serve, I'm a carer. What I'm doing with Connector sessions was not making money. It was not making money simply because so the money will be made. But in that time, I also needed to live. That is why I then said, last in May, I chose to pause and say, great, this is my passion. I'm a healer. But life has to be made. Hence, I then rolled out Rent Marketing Manager. That is where I'm making my money. That is how I'm able to fund Connector sessions. Yes. So the way I make money, earlier on when I walked in, one of the gentlemen said to me, there are so many marketers. What do you do? Marketing is seen to just be your print, your radio, but I'm not that. I'm a solutionist. How can I brand this about the solution? Yeah. So the way I make money is, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of persistence. Just this morning, one brand, I always say brand X instead of mentioning a brand.
Yeah.
One brand X said to me, we love your concept. I'm willing to negotiate because I really want to associate with this brand. We like it, may not now. So when you do solutions for people, some will take them right now, some will not take them now. So the reason I need to have different clients at a go. My strategy, and I'm happy to have worked at MultiChoice, so it means I've worked with talent, I brought talent, Baba Ekta, Modisopi and all that. A trick I learned is make sure you land retainer clients. So I'm thankful that I have some retainer clients.
Give you continuous passive income, as it were.
So at least I'm able to plan with that. But also what I do, I'm forward thinking because decision making in corporate takes a while. So Rent a Marketing Manager gives me money, a lot of money, but not as much as I want right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what would you advise those youngsters watching in terms of entrepreneurs who may be interested in the space?
Yeah. I would say you have to have multiple income streams. You cannot have one income stream. Right now, as it is, I'm about to roll out another stream. I like dressing up. I'm not a casual person, but sometimes I do dress up casual. But I didn't realize so I'm about to launch a streetwear line of talking t-shirts.
Okay.
When I started I was very intentional. Like I said, I think about what I do. My one poster, Bash Connector, where I'm explaining what connector means, is actually on a t-shirt. So when I started, people were like, "Rabatadi t-shirt is." So I'm actually starting a line of connector.
I think the demand is strong.
I will use my following the same way as I use the example, the Kim Kardashian, Badrisa, Kylie Jenner. Happy until you won't know if something won't work until you start. So I have to start.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. All right. So what's the long-term outlook now as we wrap up our conversation? If you're going to look at that crystal ball and project 10, 15, even 20 years, what is the outlook for brand Basadi Bash and for Connector, Bash Connector? Yeah,
I'm a global citizen. Botswana has always been very small for me. Too small and too slow. My outlook is the world. now our president Apusha MICE, Meetings, Incentives, Conferences and Exhibitions. The same way our teams travel and CNN interviews them. I wish for a day where I'm the one whom is interviewing our president Molanche at. I wish to see myself not just profiling or doing solutions for Botswana. I wish to see myself doing solutions for the world. But like I said, my end goal on a podcast are connecting stories, a series. We can have connecting. I have been approaching a lot of brands, your Leia and all that. The story didn't I choose to start with Botswana. It doesn't make sense for me to go out to the world. Botswana. I wish for the world to know our stories our way, not the world telling our stories. Hey, Bash Connect has grown a lot from where I started 3 years ago. Yes. With all my clients, they make me dig deeper into who I am. So, like I said, I rolled out Renter Marketing Manager last year. After rolling out Renter Marketing Manager, and I'm very thankful, my clients are through referrals and they give me more work. Maloba, now I've I've rolled out another leg into the Renter Marketing Manager, but Kidira go to market strategies. So when you apply for funding, Yabusida, Sipa Maloba.
So what can we anticipate in the next decade or two?
In the next decade, I just want to be known as this, not known, perceived, and remembered. As this when we talk Oprah, we talk Bash as this guru, this marketing guru.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is a very, very good thing to look forward to. All right. As we conclude, you have a question for me.
My question for you is, what would it take, if you're not doing it already, what would it take to have more upcoming Remogobes in our society? Especially as the boy child. I find that there's a gap. We keep doing women. Rebona bo Remogobe bua story sa gagwe. I read somewhere you're a millionaire, 33 or something like that. What is it? And that's a space I'm getting into. Connector sessions are younger ones. What role are you playing, or what is it that you can do? Upcoming Remogobe babans.
Yeah, it's a brilliant question, but I believe very much in mentorship, you know. So apart from the real estate side, where I mentor, if you like, that's one area. There's also mentorship through Angel Network Botswana, where you have to be hungry to qualify to set aside. For us to set aside our precious time for you. So we're looking at people who've actually gone through the initial stages of applying and submitting and preparing those draft, documentation. By that I mean a pitch. They're serious about your pitch. You've thought about your business idea, and it's a point where now you're trying to birth it. I've assisted quite a number in that stage, and then we can mentor them now when you see that they are serious. So Angel Network Botswana, where I'm head of the mentorship committee, co-head with Mr. Gurumuti, and then my own mentorship for real estate. I think for me that is the two channels. But otherwise, the rest of the time you try to lead by example. You try to avoid unnecessary controversy. You try your best to be the sort of person that can be emulated if somebody is interested. Social media is doing a lot of that. I mean, I post just about non-stop. You must have noticed. We try and positively empower others in the process.
Okay. No, that's
is that
a good
adequate?
start.
Yeah, it's a good start. I wish I could clone myself. But it's not always possible. Yeah. Can you leave the viewer there as we wrap up? Directly there with a nice, positive summary of your message or summary message, if you like. Yeah.
What I'd like to say is that we all are gifted. Nobody's better or less than the other. We all are gifted differently. When life is tough, I always say when things don't connect. When things don't connect, it's very easy to focus on what is not connecting as opposed to what is connecting. So a mindset change eki encouraging to anybody who's watching is to have gratitude, have a gratitude mode, something that I do very well. I journal. I every day just write what you're grateful for. In anything that you go through, know that it could be worse. So have a mindset change of gratitude. Have a mindset change of writing what is working as opposed to what is not working. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really
Thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you. You've
Thank
been a
you.
good guest. You've
Thank
done a good
you.
job. Oh, but we nearly forgot. You must share all your contacts,
Yes.
including on social media.
That's right. My contacts are Basadi Masimolole. My page, my personal page is Basadi Masimolole. And then Besh Connector is Besh. Then Connector is CONNEKTOR. Besh Connector is just on Facebook. But Basadi Masimolole is on Twitter, is on LinkedIn, is on Insta. Basadi Masimolole.
Is there WhatsApp?
WhatsApp is +267 7140 660. +267 7140 660. I always say to people, Google me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.